Favorite sports, sir?
Golf and cricket.
Who's your favorite cricketer, sir? Dhoni. What's your favorite book, sir?
Okay. There is a book called Team of Rivals written by a person called David Halberstam. It's a great book. It's a book on sports. It's a book on team spirit. It's an American study. Rahul Dravid recommended this 10 years back in an interview. I purchased it then and read it. A book that I look up to in my tough times also. Such a great book.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing this. I'll start reading that book, sir.
Team of Rivals, David Halberstam.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
I guess it's good for the audience to make a note of that.
What's your favorite quote, sir? Or we call in Tamil, Paramari. What's your favorite Paramari, sir?
It doesn't matter how you are born, but make your life worthy of somebody's.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. As a Y20 talk speaker, what message would you like to leave the hundreds of people in this room and thousands of youth watching online?
I would say the G20 that is happening in India is a very phenomenal event that is happening throughout the year. Normally when G20 events happen, it is in the capital city. One city, one summit meeting happens, they go back. But our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi has decided to have G20 meetings in 198 venues across the country. And everywhere you see in India now, it is in a festival mode when G20, Y20 or any of the allied components happen. Tamil Nadu, Mahabalipuram, Kanchipuram, Coimbatore, it is happening in Chennai. Likewise, it is happening in different parts of the state. So everywhere people are seeing the global people coming to their nearby areas. So that is the message. So I would say there is a festival that is happening in India. So likewise, since you are outside the country also, I would request you as part of the G20 year, you please take India to the global stage. Have an event, talk about India, talk about our culture, talk about our diversity, talk about our healthy democracy. Make it a point to tell our Western friends also what India is truly all about. And let them get a holistic understanding of our country, because we are not doing it to show off. No, we never do it like the other countries. We are doing it because the other countries can understand they can take something out of India to make their life better. That message has to go.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Aim of it being to cover democratic indices and along with the student point of view and getting to know you as a student. That's what we'll be covering today. So are you okay to start with the round one, sir?
Yeah.
Are you guys excited?
Yes.
So let's begin the round one, the journey, the past, present and the future. So your first question, sir. Your journey began in Totampati in Karur and has taken you to IIM Lucknow and then the Indian Police Service as a Deputy Commissioner of Police at Karnataka. And now it has brought you to Kamalayam as the State President of the BJP, Tamil Nadu. What has propelled you through your journey in public service?
Thank you, friends. Thank you to Vasigaran, Sriram and Jay who are here. And my special respects to Professor Sudarshan Ramji and Madam Hema and all the eminent guests who are sitting in the front row and all the student friends and Tamil diaspora who are sitting across this classroom. Thank you so much for coming. At the outset, my apologies. We are starting about 20 minutes late. We were traveling from London, got stuck in the traffic there. There is no direct answer to this question because I think many of you are at this point of time in your age. You have come for masters, some of you have worked other places. Again, you have taken some time out. Again, you have come for masters. You are in different parts of your life journey. I would especially say in a very complex, culturally diverse country like ours, India. Maybe the first 30 years of your life is more exploration. What is life? What is it all about? Where do you want to be? Trying to discover why you are on this planet Earth. Out of the 625 crore people and 142 crore Indians, it is just not an accident that you are born in India, just not an accident that you are born at this particular point of time. So it is more about trying to understand what do you want to do with your life. So that journey takes a long time. I keep telling my young friends, if somebody tells me at the age of 20, they are very clear this is what they want to do in life, I keep telling them, maybe you haven't seen much of life. You have to see more of life. So my life is more about that, sir. I was an engineer without even having an idea why I want to be an engineer. So 12th standard, after 10th, it was very clearly two options my father gave. He said, you want to be a doctor, want to be an engineer? I said, I might not have that kind of brains to become a doctor. So better I'll take engineering. So engineering was an option. Again, I went to engineering. My father asked me, what engineering you want to become? I said, no clue. And my close friend in 12th standard, he chose a college in Coimbatore and he chose an engineering seat. So I decided to pursue engineering in that college because his friends with me and he got seat there. So engineering went there. But possibly the second and third year of engineering is the most important time in my life. I started seeing life more closely, started understanding what I want to be doing in this life. So fourth year I told my dad that I don't want to be an engineer. So I was in my book also a little bit here and there because I thought for kids whatever little bit of mistakes I made, probably I can tell them. I'm not calling it a mistake in place. So fourth year of engineering I was very clear. I want to take a break. That was on in India 2007. There is no concept of break here.
The concept of gap year is just very new.
No concept of break year or gap year. In Tamil, my friends call me Polikathiriyar, which means this fellow is totally clueless. The other person called me as insane. What is he trying to do? I took a year off. Possibly that is the greatest thing that has happened to me till now. I'm about 38, 39 now. That 1 year break is the greatest thing that has happened to me. It gave a lot of clarity. It really gave me a direction which I should go. And I was very clear my life I should get into public service. But what form of public service was always debatable because you have so many forms of public service in our country. There is an NGO, there is a civil service, and there is government. It is not everybody can get into government, it is not everybody can get into politics because it's a pretty complex country, like I said. So that clarity pushed me to my masters, it pushed me to civil service, then it brought me to politics. Sorry for the long answer, sir. But the reason I want to urge you, young friends who are in UK also, yesterday I was part of the India-British Forum in Nehru Center. There was a seminar I was attending. And I was seeing a lot of young kids studying in different parts, King's College, people are studying in London School of Economics like you.
I was there.
Yeah, some of the best colleges like Warwick in UK, there were representatives sitting there. And when I spoke to many of those kids, everybody had the same question. They said, what am I going to do in the next 10 years? And my heart is India, but opportunities are here, I'm studying here. So what is your advice? Some people ask whether India can give a dual passport or whether they can come back to India. No, the answer I would give to all of the students sitting here is, if you feel confused, you are absolutely in the right place. If you feel absolute clarity at this age of time, maybe you have to see more life. And before 30, I don't think you should settle down. You should keep exploring, keep looking at other options, then take a call and stick to it. Because you should not get burned out at 45. The problem with many of my friends who did engineering and MBA with me, at 45 they become very blank. They say that I don't know what to do. I've got my 2 cars, I got my 2 houses, the EMI is paid, there's a bank balance of a couple of crores, then what is more to life? Then the new trend of going to Himalayas and going everywhere and doing yatra and everything. So I will request you, take time out and don't feel bad that others might get settled and you are not getting settled. And you want to do a 3rd degree, please do it, nothing wrong in it.
Moving on to the next question, a total change of scene. Everything down to the watch you wear is being scrutinized. How does it feel to be in that position in the public eye 24/7?
Okay, sir. India pre-Modi, before 2014, if you look at Indian politics, it's a very set pattern. A child is born into a political family, and right from the day the child is born, when relatives come to see him, oh, the next chief minister of Tamil Nadu, because he's born in Gopalapuram, or probably he's born in Samajwadi Party's office somewhere in UP, or somebody is born somewhere in parts of India. That's how the generations are built. Along with the child, somebody else's child is also born because his father is a minister there. All the child grow together. This is a status quo in Indian politics. Pre-2014, that's how Indian politics was. A child like Rahul Gandhi still is a child only, and born there, and right from young age, everything is spoon-fed to him. that you'll be the Indian Prime Minister, you'll be the Indian Prime Minister, your grandfather is like this, grandmother is like this, your father is like this, your mother is like this. And again, you keep coming down to southern politics also. You take DMK, you get into KCR, you get into Janata Dal, you look at every single political party, probably Lalu Yadav. But when an outsider comes into a system, it becomes all the more tough. Because you are trying to get into their 35-year plan, 40-year plan, or 50-year plan. When everything is said, there is an ecosystem, journalists, people, chamchas, everybody around them. That's why Modi ji, we might say Modi ji is a great person, great human being, great Prime Minister, but I would say, in hindsight, Modi ji actually saved Indian democracy. Pre-2014, we felt, what is democracy? We don't have a choice in elections. You just have three families standing in election. I just have to evaluate which is the better family among the three and vote for you. That was the case in India. Or, if Congress is falling down, some 10-15 fellows together will come, form a coalition, they will be in power for 5 years, rule the country, and the country will go back. So we never thought a commoner can climb up the ranks, achieve a highest position in our democracy and serve our country. So Modi ji 2001 onwards, then 2014 onwards, he broke it. Now there are millions of people like me. It is not me. Right at the Panchayat level, right at the municipality level, right at the MLAs level, a lot of people, first generation, they come in. Family doesn't have any smell of politics. Family doesn't even have 1% role in politics. And my family is just a mute spectator standing in the queue, looking at the options, voting and coming. When you come in, you disturb everybody there. And by nature, I also don't keep quiet. I also keep speaking something or the other. So you make enemies in your political life here and there. So naturally what happens, everything becomes scrutinized. How you live your life, what do you speak. So I wouldn't say it is tough, but it gives me a lot of extra responsibility to live my life well. Because I have decided that what am I inside, let me speak out openly so that there is no conflict for anybody who sees me. Because I represent a party, I have to carry my party's ideology. I have to be extremely careful of the words I speak. At the same time, as an individual person, I felt the best way to come out of this scrutiny is to be true to myself. I know I have some faults, it's absolutely okay. If I'm staying true to myself, people will say, okay, Annamalai is okay here, Annamalai is not okay here. Let me give them that clarity instead of trying to put a face that is actually not my true face. Because you have to understand my mind also. Because if my mind gets conflict, I get into stress mode. If I get into stress mode, I can't perform. So I have decided over the last 7-8 months, let me be brutally honest. In the process, if I ruffle some feathers, it's okay in politics. And long term, my job in Tamil Nadu politics is more like a ship that goes before a big ship. If you look at the Scandinavian countries or the North Pole oriented countries, they have an icebreaker ship. The icebreaker ship's role is more critical than the tankers which comes behind it. Because the icebreaker has to go break the ice and clear the waters for the big ships to come. So the role that me and many leaders in Tamil Nadu we are doing for BJP now, we are performing the role of an icebreaker ship. So natural damages will come, bruises will come, blood will flow. You have to take some body blows, okay. But possibly the guys who come behind me, the path is clear for them. That's how I look at politics. So it doesn't actually bother. The extra scrutiny doesn't bother.
Wonderful. In a sense, it gives the impression that today we walk so that tomorrow people can run, and I think that's amazing. Can we have a round of applause for that?
Sir, as one of the youngest and most influential individuals in Tamil Nadu politics, we know you have many dreams for Tamil Nadu. What is the one thing that you want to change in TN politics, sir?
We want to bring my aspiration and all of our leaders' aspiration as a team BJP right now. We want to bring decency back into public life. Because Tamil Nadu is decency in public life. They are very spotless. The other day I was in Tambaram. Tambaram is communist leader Jiva's birthplace. Though from a differing ideology, Jiva is a man of excellence. So there is a story which I was recalling in the Tambaram meeting also. I said I've come to this very sacred place of Jiva Ji. And the story of Jiva we all know. When Karmavira Kamaraj Raya was the chief minister, he was in Tambaram to inaugurate a school building. And being the local leader, Jiva Ji has to come. So he failed to turn up for 20 minutes. Chief Minister was waiting. Finally, Jivaji came. Kamarajarji asked him, why were you late? And Jiva said, I came late because I had only one dhoti. And I was wearing the dhoti yesterday. And I cleaned up the dhoti in the night. I put it for drying. The sun came out late. So by the time the dhoti got dried, I was wearing the dhoti and coming. So you have this kind of characters. You have people like Kakkan, Education Minister. Now who's our Tamil Nadu's Education Minister? Who's a part-time actor and a part-time Udayanithi Rasiyar Mandra club leader? Part-time he comes to work. So you have Kakkan, you have Jiva, you have people like Kamarajarji, you have Rajaji. So again, if you go back, you have this kind of leaders who were in politics. So they brought a lot of decency and a lot of selflessness to politics. I think you bring it. Forget ideologies after a point of time. You bring it because every ideology will come towards national in Tamil Nadu after a point of time. That is the only way Tamil Nadu politics can survive. You cannot have a divisive ideology inside. It all has to become national in a matter of time. So I would say the main goal is to bring decency back into public life. And for that, you got to be a good human being or try to be a good human being. You cannot be some other person and doing politics as part-time, coming here because your family is in politics for 45 years. Because this is too big a serious responsibility. Too big a serious responsibility. And the mistakes that you crucially make will affect the state, which is not visible now, which will be visible 10 years from now. Anything you do, it is not visible tomorrow. In your jobs, a student thing, you perform something bad today, the grades will be there tomorrow. But for a politician, unfortunately, the mistakes you do, the penalty will be paid a decade later by the population. That is what Tamil Nadu is paying today. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
So we're done with the round one. So now we'll be going to the round two, which is facts and fallacies. That's going to be our second round. So, to begin with the second round, sir. So as international students here, my fellow friends, my team and I, one constant thing, obviously the scenario has changed a lot after 2021 especially. But initial days of our international student life here, the one thing that we were, as Indian students, that we were asked a lot by our international friends were that, oh, India, does secularity still is applicable in India? What are the democratic values in India? And I would like to refer to our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi's speech at the US Congress 2 days ago, that India is a landscape which has 2,500 political parties, 22 official languages, 20 different parties govern different states inside India. And given this cultural diversity that our motherland has, do international democratic indices still stand applicable in India? Do you think that there is some injustice that's done to us in that context?
I got some data with me. Thank you for asking this question, brother. I'm going to use my cell phone to just read out the data so that I don't get the numbers wrong. Now, the favorite pastime of many people, especially in this part of the world, the Americans and the British this side, is trying to look at Indian democracy from a Western lens. They have the Western lens, they look at Indian democracy and then they make their opinion, judgmental opinion. And there are some institutions which publishes rankings. Now I am going to talk about three of the world's, probably the topmost, what they call the democratic indexes. There are three top ones which keeps publishing ranking. I am going to first take the Freedom and World Index. Freedom and World Index is from the New York City, headquartered there by the Freedom House. They publish a ranking called the Freedom and World Index. Now, till 2018, India's civil liberty score, how liberal is the society, the minimum being 0, maximum being 100.
Yeah.
India's civil liberty score was at 42 till 2018. Now, surprisingly, this Freedom and World Index started in 1973. Because it's very important I'm giving you this data because many of your friends are asking, you should be in a position to explain something. From 1973 till 2018, India's civil liberty score was continuously at 42. We didn't change. Emergency 42, post-emergency 42, Modi era 42, Congress era 42. Now, suddenly in 2022, after 2018 when Modi ji comes to power for the second time, because they thought Modi ji has come to power for first time, it's fluke. They will not come for the second time. Second time when Modi ji came again, the rank of civil liberty dropped down to 33 from 42. You see how it is dropping. Very, very surprisingly, I was looking at the other countries they have ranked. Northern Cyprus, which is controlled by Turkey. which is not recognized by United Nations as a country.
Yeah.
Northern Cyprus score of Freedom and World Index is 77. More civil liberty they claim, and the United Nations do not even recognize it as a country. It is 77. A country like India is 73. Mongolia, which had a one-party system till 1990. Now the score they have given to Mongolia is 84. Then again, if you go inside, in the Freedom and World Index, probably the number one index they compare everywhere, Jammu and Kashmir is recognized as a separate country. You go inside, you find a score for Jammu and Kashmir separately. Now, this is not the worst part. The worst part is yet to come. Now, I was trying to analyze how do you actually come at a score. So they have 25 intellectuals. They are journalists and human rights communities, think tank, academic. And this 25 people answer in-house questions. It is not that they come to India, talk to people, friends, how is democracy here? No. 25 guys sit in New York. They happen to be the academics, they happen to be staff, analysts, consultants, experts. I don't know what experts they are. And 25 questions, this 25 people answer. The combined cumulative score is the Freedom and World Index, coming from an ACO. It is like going to Taliban, asking them to give a certificate for themselves. Taliban will say, oh, we protect women like anything. There is no comparison to us. So this is one score for you. Now let us look at the second score, which is the Economist Intelligence Unit Democracy Index. Economist magazine, again widely quoted. And they published this score. If you again look at it, where the Economist has kept us. 2006 they started. 2006 they started ranking. Economist Intelligence Unit, EIU, their score for democracy. India was ranked 27 in 2014 and now pushed down to 46 in 2021. So even lower the score, better the country. So 2014 we were at 27. Now 2021 we are at 46. They increased the rank, meaning that democracy is going down is what they claim. Now when you compare Hong Kong, Hong Kong's civil liberty is much higher than India. Sri Lanka's civil liberty is higher than India. All those countries where it is collapsing, where there is political instability, they have more civil liberty score. In a country like India, when one party with more than 303 MPs is governing, absolute no instability, we are lower than Hong Kong and Sri Lanka. Now, I was just taking 2021, why did you give less score to us? They said because of nationwide lockdown, we are giving you less score. Now, I would tell my economist friends, for me, life is more important than liberty. Peak of Corona, how can we run a country without locking it down? For locking down the country, if you are restricting the score, what happened to Americans? Yes, America, economists has given higher score because America did not lock down. But how many people died? So this kind of arguments they have in publishing a score. They said 2021 India's civil liberty score has taken a beating because of the nationwide imposition of lockdown. But they are not understanding it is to prevent the spread of pandemic. And they have given less score. Now, I was also checking, how are you scoring us? When you come to India, talk to our people, go to our Gram Panchayat, go to our MLAs, go to our thriving democracy, see it. They said, no, we take our cue from an opinion poll result of World Value Survey. Now, World Value Survey did not do survey after 2012. So, what happened after 2012? So, last 9 years you haven't done a survey, but how did you give a rank? They said, in the years when the World Value Survey don't do a ranking, don't do a survey, we based our ranking on expert opinion. This is Economist Intelligence Unit for you. Again, experts sitting in ACO giving ranking. No, now time has come to demolish that. Now we go to Freedom Index. This is the third index, the possible index where your Western friends quote you. Now this is based on a Sweden, published by the Varieties of Democracy Institute at the University of Gothenburg, Sweden. They give it. Now, one question there, where India has got 0 marks for it, by which the rank came down. The question they have asked is, to what extent is direct popular vote is utilized in India? Meaning, they are comparing India to Switzerland. Referendum on it. So, any decision Modi is taking, he should hold a national referendum. Daily. Can I open the door? Can I sign a FTA with EU? Can I increase the passport thing? Can I go to US? Can I go to White House? You do referendum daily. And then they say countries which do referendum like that, they come at a higher score. So they are equating India to Switzerland. Now, very, very interestingly, sir, from 1976 to 2013, which means emergency after 2013, Modi came. Everywhere you see there's pre-Modi, post-Modi. You have to understand in all events. 1976 to 2013, the score they have given to India is 0.85, which is high. One is perfect, 0.85 is high. After Modi ji has come, they have given it 0.6. Now my question to my friends of Freedom Index is, sir, from 1976 to 2013, we all know Congress was in power. I am not denying it. But do you know Congress has used Article 356 91 times to dissolve state government. From 1947, they have used 91 times to dissolve state government, Article 356. Modi ji did not use it for a single time. Being a party of majority, being having an MLAs, well, even if you use Article 356, you can pass it in both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So, using 356 gives you 0.85. Not using 356 gives you 0.6. Now, we all know the Freedom Index is funded by George Soros. George Soros has a problem with people like you, nationalists. He doesn't like nationalists. So recently he has pledged $1 billion to create a new university to prevent the spread of nationalism. Have you seen anywhere happen?
University in India, sir?
I think they're again doing it in Sweden. $1 billion. $1 billion. Again, partly with the same university which is publishing the V10 index. It is funding. Now this NGO called Open Society Foundation is doing it. Now, we have seen spread of malaria, cholera. We have seen somebody like Bill Gates will put money to prevent the spread of malaria, cholera. Now, first time we are seeing an entrepreneur putting $1 billion money to prevent the spread of nationalism. $1 billion. $1 billion. $1 billion to prevent the spread of nationalism. Now, this guy funds the Freedom Index. And this Open Society Foundation's vice president, there is an Indian who is a vice president there, his name is Salil Shetty. And this guy was along with Rahul Gandhi in his walk, Padyatha. Okay, now coming to the crux of what I am trying to convey. We have looked at the data, we have looked at the memory mechanism, we have looked at how it is. It is nonsensical. It is nonsensical to the core. So we have 225,000 panchayats in India. This case cannot even compare to us. All 225,000 panchayats, there is a direct election to the panchayat president. Then you have municipalities, more than 4,000 in India. Then you have more than 4,000 MLAs really elected by people directly. Because I vote for which MLA I want. Then you have 545 MPs directly elected by people. Because of our nature of democracy, the MPs elect the Prime Minister. So, but in country like India, we all know I am voting for Modi. Voting for Modi means I am voting for the dead. So, you equate this to not having a direct participative democracy is nonsensical. And second, when all these Indians sitting here not knowing what India is, they have to understand one thing. We all know in Britain, whatever I have seen in the last 4 or 5 days, the policing is very soft here. You want to come to Indian embassy, pull down our flag, they're okay with it. No more. Because they say it's civil liberty, they can do anything.
It's only for India.
There
is no policing here.
No, very soft.
It's only for
Now-
India, not for France and other countries. It's only against
Only
India.
for now the London Bobbies and other friends have to understand. India is the only country which will allow our protesters to block a national highway for months, inconvenience crores of people, still we allow them. But you don't call this democracy. India is the only country where every day all kinds of protests, all kinds of demonstrations, people can call Modi ji by names. People can go to court with personal civil liberty suits. They can find thousands of suits every day from all kinds of courts. They don't call this democracy. And India is the only country where, possibly in a large country compared to China and other countries, where the court system is very robust at all levels, the district level.
So India has recently surpassed significant economies to become the 5th largest global economy in terms of GDP. How has India's democracy has helped to promote this substantial economic development?
Okay, sir. Now you have to understand, why are the companies queuing to get into India? Tim Cook, the Apple head, was in Mumbai the other day. And he opened 2 stores. And when a company like Apple enters into a country, you got to take notice. Because these guys don't come into a country just like that. Apple went into China in 2008. First store was opened in China in 2008. When China was about $4.5 trillion. Today, China is about $13-14 trillion. From one store in 2008, China has got 48 stores. Because these guys look at a lot of data, they look at a lot of intelligent data, they try to understand where this country is going to move in the next 25 years, then they come and put their money inside. Because the global corporations don't come cheap into a country. Now, Mumbai, they have entered, 2 stores open. India is about $3.6 trillion now. So, India is taking off, it's just taking off. Now, if you ask Tim Cook ji, probably why is he entering into India? Because it is one, of course, the opportunity of population, 142 crore, and 66% of the population is below the age of 35. The median age is around 28, and this is going to be the middle class of India is going to be greater than the combined population of Europe. The whole of Europe population you had, our middle classes will be more than, in fact, twice of it. And one side is opportunity. These guys don't come for opportunity alone. These guys come because they see political stability. India is a politically stable country thanks to Modi ji. And from 89 we saw, 96 we saw, 97 we saw, 98 we saw, even our great leader Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji, he had to cobble together a large coalition to show the country that a national party with a nationalist outlook can govern, you see. So we have to take everybody along with us to tell our countrymen, see, BJP is a party of difference, we just want to get a taste of BJP. Only then we got 5 years later. Now they know 273 plus MP in 2014, 2019 303 MP. Very stable political system. 2024 possibly more than 400 MP for Modi ji. So they are not fools to come and invest money. So India's political stability is our biggest strength. Now UP, let us come to UP, sir. Now we will flip the same argument in UP and see. Now UP is about 23.5 crore. If you rank as a country, it will be a top 10 country in the world. 23.5 crore. And now this 23.5 crore population state, where was it before 2014? 2014, massive mandate for Modi ji. They said we want a person like Modi ji, massive mandate. 2017, thanks to Modi ji, again a massive mandate. Then Yogi ji came in as chief minister. After 5 years, again a massive mandate, Yogi ji is continuing as chief minister. Now you have to understand UP. Because UP is fed up with political instability. Caste, this combination, that combination, this leader, that leader. And nothing was taking off in UP, Gunda Raj. And all the 23.5 crore people, they felt wasted. Suddenly Yogi ji comes, improves the law and order, gives the stability to UP. Suddenly when people, anybody going to UP, I see 11 airports in Uttar Pradesh. Tamil Nadu has got 5, Karnataka has got 9. We see 11 airports there. If you look at the last year data, 2022, do you know which state had the second largest number of startup registrations, sir? First is Maharashtra, second is Uttar Pradesh. Tamil Nadu came third. Second largest number of startups. These guys are going to fire the next day. Because suddenly you see a stable law and order. Suddenly you see women feel safe to come out. Suddenly you see a state where Gundas can come out and dictate property, hafta vasuli. Any companies want to invest in Kanpur, first meet the Gunda fellow, give 10% commission. Now no fellow is there. You want to go invest money into it. Now suddenly you see UP taking off. South Indian states, especially from my state, DMK party, how they were talking about UP people. Any of your UP friends who are here, they say North Indians. They say Pan Parak Wala. How was the kind of language they used to know? Suddenly in Tamil Nadu, there was a small issue. And many of our UP and Bihar friends wanted to go back. Immediately Stalin said, please don't go back. Please don't go back. And he sent a delegation to UP and Bihar. Why? Because they know when UP is firing, when all the UP and Bihar friends who are in Tamil Nadu will go back to UP, when they start working for their companies in UP, Tamil Nadu will lose that labor arbitrage. Very simple.
Definitely.
And I'm going one step further to predict where it is going to go. Now, UP has become the superstar of Indian states now. Our Chief Minister, M.K. Stalin, he went to
Singapore and Japan.
Singapore and Japan. 6-day trip. They said, oh, I'm going to bring money and blah blah, and everything he did. So we were also expecting, oh, the Chief Minister was going to come back with huge money. 8 days later he came back. In the press conference, they asked him, how much money you brought? They said, before answering, I want to criticize my opposition friends. These fellows are speaking bad about me for the last 8 years.
With a lot of democratic conversations, dialogues, debates, and a lot of conversations. And now that brings us to the round 3. And I guess we have named, our team has put in a lot of effort into naming this as a round that is very close to your heart as much as the BJP is. But you want to take a guess? The round is called, I think, the DMK round, which is Dhamaka round. Nothing to worry about. Yes, it's just a Dhamaka. So the aim of this round is to keep a conversation a little more lighter note, and to get to know you as a student, or what way you like when you were a student. So the first question being, say, as we are in a room with international students and at the University of Warwick, when you were a student and even now when you are in active politics, do you miss home? And what is one thing that you do when you actually miss home?
I call my mother. I miss home. I always miss home. I know my life over a point of time, it has always kept me away from home. I don't know, for a long time I studied after 12th class engineering away from home. Then after engineering, MBA I went to Lucknow away from home. Then civil service away from home. Politics away from home. So my mother somehow reluctantly she has accepted that I think I'm always away from home. So
But I'm sure she's so proud of you.
I miss functions, I miss everything. So even now when I call my mother, I make it a habit to call her often. I have very standard questions. I said, how is the sheep? I said, how is the cow? And is it eating properly? And whether feed is going proper, water is being given to it. Then I ask, how are you? So my mom is like, okay.
We see where your heart lies.
She keeps asking, but I miss terribly my home. But you all have to understand, the farther we go away in search of something which is good for either society or for the country, I think we should do it. We should not restrict ourselves to spaces. Yesterday there was a question about brain drain, just aside comment. Somebody said, oh, the best of Indian students are coming to UK. What about India? And the best and the brightest of India are in UK and US. So you need actually this case back home. I said, I don't have a problem with brain drain. Because they make a very careful collective choice. They say, look, I want to go now to Warwick, one of the best universities in UK, I want to study, I want to do this, I want to do that. But wherever you go, we know we can take an Indian out of India, but we cannot take India out of India. That I know for sure. It will be there. When Prime Minister lands in Turkey just yesterday, odd hour, Indian diaspora is welcoming Turkey of all places. US, every city he goes, diaspora is coming. So I know 80% of diaspora are probably American citizens now. But the heart is Indian. You cannot take India out of it. So why should you discriminate? So wherever you think you are happy, you should go. And India will always look out for you. That is why in Sudan recently, our country is not the old India. Any Indian citizen having a problem across the world, we come search for them. We come search for them. The old India will just forsake you. Oh, you are studying somewhere, you are working somewhere, I don't care. Ukraine, 22,000 people, you have a problem, we come search for it. We move heaven and earth to stop a war. We move heaven and earth. We stop a war for 5.5 hours. The whole of country's resources we put. The airplanes, the Indigos, the Air Indias. We send our cabinet ministers to 5 countries around Ukraine. Without the scratch, we lift all 22,000 and bring back. This is the new India for you. Or Yemen, or Afghanistan, or somebody getting struck. We search for them, we hunt for them, we take him out of the harm's way in any part of the world. Or recently in Sudan, Aki-Piki friends were struck there. The first level of evacuation happened to Saudi. We were able to bring a lot of people back. But we couldn't lift still 350 people inside. Because they are right in the middle of conflict zone. There is somebody fighting in the North Sudan. There is somebody fighting in the South Sudan. The Khartoum airport is not functioning. 200 American citizens inside. Then Modi ji said, nothing doing. Go, we bring them back. He said, take the air force, go with commandos, land, do a night landing, bring them back. Then very daring. These are missions which at the peak of powers America and Russia used to do it. Very daring mission which will cross continent and take people out. Now we came, we landed a C-130 plane. Runway was not there, ATC was not there. The pilot used a night vision goggle to land the plane. And while going, the American embassy also told us, since you are going, please bring our American citizens. We don't mind it. Wherever you are, you should be happy. That is the whole idea. And even if you very grudgingly or beyond your control, you forsake the Indian citizenship, still we will come for you.
Not at all. Sir.
Anybody. I mean,
At least I hope
there's nothing called right and wrong.
At least
I see
I
a lot
hope-
of friends for their profession's sake or others' sake. Yesterday also I met a couple of people in UK. They said, look, I am an Indian at heart, but I am a British citizen. I said, absolutely no problem. Even in future something happens to you or your family, we will come for you. That is India for you. Because only the paper and some name and some passport, some page got changed. But India is in you. And who are we to tell that you are not an Indian?
Thank you, sir.